Christopher Robin is directed by Marc Forster and is the latest film about the beloved Winnie the Pooh characters created by A.A. Milne, and this one is about a grown-up Christopher Robin, played by Ewan McGregor, struggling to maintain a balance between his work and family life, and when he hits rock bottom, Winnie the Pooh, once again voiced by Jim Cummings, is looking for his friends and the two cross paths in London. This film is about childhood and never letting go of the important things in life, and I love the way they implemented heffalumps as metaphors for losing the joy in life. This film does a lot right and a fair amount wrong, but at its core it is a sweet film. Typical of Disney, they up the whimsicalness, and even the dark moments, there never is a feeling of any dread. The fact that they have Jim Cummings reprising his role of Winnie and Tigger was a real nice touch that helped the nostalgia gland. Out of all the woodland animals, the ones with the most dialogue and screen time are Winnie, Tigger, Eeyore and Piglet, with the latter two having pretty accurate voice matches to the voices of old. This film had the right pieces, and the simple dialogue from these animals helps emphasize how simple life should be. Little things like an exchange between Christopher and Winnie about a balloon really underline this, and the marketing played with this, cleverly using these simple bits of dialogue, knowing they can be applied to many aspects of life. I love the callbacks to the old movies as well. I didn't realize how much they stuck in my memory up until watching this film. For example, my favorite film about Winnie the Pooh was The Search for Christopher Robin, and the ending exchange between Christopher and Pooh at the end of that film is brought to life at the start of this one. Tigger comes out with a wonderful thing about Tiggers, a song which I have not heard since I was about 9, and it made me smile. Every sequence with the animals is perfect. Unfortunately, that pokes holes in other elements, including the actual interactions with people. They act in a similar way to the live-action Disney characters of old, but in this modern age where acting standards have increased tenfold, makes for some very awkward performances. It really is a strange one, because whilst the puppetry for the animals could never have been done back then, I feel like the dialogue choices worked so much better in that time period. From declarations of asking what play is to twirling mustache business villains, the spine of this is built on Christopher's daughter resenting him for being at work all the time and Christopher feeling like he's trapped. But in all honesty, this is one of the weakest elements of this film, and the way everything gets tied up is effectively ripping off the ending of Mary Poppins, albeit with a small twist ending less tragically. To summarise, the good parts take place in the 100-acre wood, whereas everything in the real world feels subpar by comparison. The story is a generic one. You have seen it before, and in terms of films about work versus play, this is pretty average. But for all the negativity, I will say straight up that the tensionless relationship between Pooh and Christopher is gut-wrenching, with one scene confronting the battle between child innocence and harsh reality being an absolute heart-wrencher, which is followed by a real heartwarming scene almost straight after, giving this film a really nice flow. Now, in terms of the performances, Ewan McGregor is great. No matter if he is acting across from people or animals, he brings the right level of reserved emotions, acting mainly through his facial expressions and the way he carries himself, only using his tone to reinforce the scenes in question. He really is one of those actors that always manages to turn in an okay performance, no matter what the material. As for the other humans, Bronte Carmichael plays his daughter, isn't the worst, but certainly isn't the best child actor, but considering her limited experience, she manages to hold her own alongside McGregor. Hayley Atwell, who plays Christopher Robin's wife, certainly has her moments, with her better scenes coming towards the end, but her conflict with Christopher at the start is really well played. The last real big character, I guess, is the sort of antagonist Winslow, played by Marc, who I say sort of because apart from the last 20 or so minutes, he doesn't really display an antagonistic side, even giving respect to the average working man. With what he is given, Gatiss performs really well. As for the voice performances, I will talk both about the characterizations and the voice work. Obviously, Jim Cummings is the biggest plus in this film, not even losing a step in either personifying Tigger, who's as bouncy as ever, or Winnie, who is very self-aware of his shortcomings, but makes up for it in his sweetest heart. Eeyore is absolutely fantastic. Voiced by Brad Garrett, Disney seem to have realised that a lot of the people that grew up with these characters have grown to have a dark humour when it comes to sadness and depression. So his very nonchalant tone and attitude about the negative things actually becomes some of the most amusing moments in this film. With mental health awareness finally on the rise, it is good to see a character demonstrating these symptoms and learning to live with it alongside his friends. Piglet is voiced really well by Nick Mohammed. His characterizations have become a bit more trembly, but in terms of his presence, there is very little for him to do except to be there as one of the most recognizable faces. I could talk about the rest of the animals, but their screen time is so limited, it's not really worth focusing on them too much. Overall, Christopher Robin, I will be honest, did disappoint on the whimsical side of things, but it doesn't disappoint me to the level of contempt I have for some films, as this film does enough right to tug on the heartstrings and make it suitable for a family audience. Aside from an identity issue and some peculiar performances and a generic story, I will say this film is sweet enough, but the silly old bear needs more sugar. Jesus, I only realised how much weight the phrase silly old bear has in the right context. Honestly, it is worth a watch, and if you have seen Christopher Robin, please let me know what you thought down in the comments below. And for more reviews coming all the time, hit that round subscribe button. This is That Spike Head Podcast, signing off.